Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Anita, Mylon Family Chiropractic. You're riding in the car with the Chiro. So this morning, my topics the last couple of weeks have been pretty intense. So I decided to change it up a bit, make it a little bit lighter because the holidays are coming and there's so much heaviness going on in our worlds with the holidays and family and sickness and all of that jazz. So I thought I'd answer a question that I get a lot. And that question is some of the biggest fears about getting adjusted. So let's play this out a little bit because this will be fun. So I had a 20-some-odd-year-old professional gamer come in. He makes his living gaming, so he has all the postures that we chiropractors say don't do, right? So he's doing really well with his care, but his biggest concern is because of his occupation of many hours of gaming, his back still bothers him. And while he's feeling better at 20-some-odd years old, he's concerned, does he need to have surgery? This is the kind of thinking that people have about back pain. It's mind-blowing to me that somebody in their 20s would even consider surgical conversation with me when they're doing better, but this dude is like so nervous about his career that he'd even consider, God forbid, surgical intervention. I'm hoping that I'm going to do a great job in convincing him that that will never be an option in his world unless there's, God forbid, a trauma. So that solves that one, right? Some of the fears are you're going to break somebody's back or neck. Well, while it looks really cool in action videos and movies, it's really hard. It's not impossible, but really hard to break somebody's back or neck. So getting a chiropractic adjustment is not going to break your back or neck. You are not going to get paralyzed from a chiropractic adjustment. That is not true. Your great aunts, uncles, great best friends, third cousins, brothers, best friends, fourth removed cousins said that his third removed cousin, blah, blah, blah. No. Chiropractor is not going to paralyze you. The chances of you having an ill episode like that is so egregious to the work that we do, is negligible. I pay about $2,000 in malpractice insurance a year. I have $1 million coverage. I have the toppest, best malpractice coverage available in my profession. So if there were risks involved that the insurance industry felt that they were going to have to insure, certainly they would raise their rates on us, wouldn't you think? I would think so too. So some of the other fears about getting adjusted is, I'm going to have to go to the chiropractor the rest of my life. Listen, you don't have to breathe for the rest of your life. You don't have to drink water for the rest of your life. You don't have to have a proper functioning spine and nervous system. But I do. You know why? Because I choose to live, right? And in order for me to live at my very best, I have to hydrate well. I have to eat healthfully. I have to stay active. And I have to have my spine and nervous system checked on a regular basis by my chiropractor. I go to my chiropractor every single week. Not because my back hurts or I don't feel well or any of that stuff. Hey, Tom. But I go to my chiropractor because my chiropractor allows my body to be at its very best, so I never have to worry about, well, am I going to be so sick that I'm going to have to go see a doctor and I'm going to have to take medications and things like that. Another question people have about fear of getting adjusted is, well, if I've had surgery, you're going to mess up my surgery. Well, my goodness, if your surgeon did a great job, I should not have to worry about anything that I'm doing as a chiropractor that is going to mess with what that surgeon's job is. I'm going to assume the surgeons did exactly what they were designed to do. They perfected their art and technique. They did what was necessary in order to help your spine. And there's nothing I'm going to do as a chiropractor, no matter how strong you think my hands are, that I'm going to mess with your surgery if it's done correctly. So that's nothing to worry about. Some people coming in there, their fear of getting adjusted is that cracking sound. Ooh, that sound. That sound that we crazy chiropractors live for. And in movies, they actually use celery sticks that they soak in water, kind of like at the bar that they put in your Bloody Mary because it's super crisp, right? Well, they use that against the microphone when they want to hear the sounds of a spine cracking. Well, when you hear sound effects when I make an adjustment, that is the sound of nitrogen gas. And nitrogen gas shifts from one space to another. And so when I make an adjustment, I move that segment ever so slightly, millimeters. And when I shift that segment, the spine creates a space where it was. And nitrogen gas likes to move around. It's very volatile. And it makes a little pop or explosion sound. And the more tissue you have, meaning the more girth, as in the midsection of our body, the less likely you're going to hear it. The higher and closer to your ear you get, the more likely you're going to hear it. So, Doc, why do I hear it sometimes and don't hear it other times? It all has to do with whether or not you got gas in that area. I'm not in charge of that. It's whether or not your body is gaseous, right? Some people say fear of getting adjusted, that you're going to get addicted to it. Well, I don't know about addiction. Hey Mario, I don't like to think of chiropractic as an addiction. I mean, I don't think health is an addiction, but I sure in hell like to be healthy. So I like getting my chiropractic. And I go every single week as a choice because I know it's the best thing for me. I don't call that an addiction. Can I live without chiropractic? Yes. Will I live as healthfully? Heck no. So, no, I don't think you get addicted to it. I think those of us that go to the chiropractor on a regular basis have come to appreciate the value of a regular chiropractic adjustment, and that's why we love going to the chiropractor. The other fear is if we stop, everything's going to go back to the way it was. The reality is if you stop, some of the correction that was achieved, if you got enough adjustments to create corrections, that is true. It can go back to the way it was. And so there's a reason why in chiropractic we have what's called wellness or maintenance care, because we want to maintain your body. We don't wait until we're dying of thirst before we drink, or we shouldn't. Many of us do. So you should maintain your spine and nervous system. You don't wait until you're starving to eat, although some of us do. It's not a good idea. That's why we have a regimen of eating every so many hours to fuel the body so that the body will rev the engine and run according to the way you want it to run. If you don't take care of that, guess what? It's just not going to perform the way you want it to. That's just how the human body works. And chiropractic is very simple. Our job as chiropractors is to remove interference in the nervous system so that your body can perform at its very best, whatever that may be for you. The other question is fear about getting a baby adjusted. Why would you adjust a baby when their bones aren't formed yet? True. Their bones are not formed yet. But they're formed enough so that with a slight pressure, we can make an adjustment on a baby's spine that will allow them to breathe better, hear better, digest better. 3 major functions that a baby needs to be having functioning for them from the very beginning of life. And the birth process, whether it was natural through the vaginal or whether it was medically induced and they had a C-section or, forceps delivery or vacuum extraction, God forbid, or any of those things, they've put distress on the spine and nervous system. Why? Because the spine and nervous system is not strong enough to maintain itself yet. It's not able to hold itself up. That's why a baby's head flops around like it does, because it's not strong enough to manage, right? And so a chiropractor's job in checking a newborn is to make sure that that nervous system is free of interference after the birth process so that that baby can start its life off expressing 100% of its fullest health potential. So there's nothing to worry about with the baby. Babies actually do wonderfully with chiropractic adjustments. They tend to go right to sleep. If a baby is colicky, they're not going to go right to sleep right away. But I've gotten phone calls within a half an hour telling me my baby passed out by the time we got home. And then the next day I'm told that they slept for 4, 6, 7, 8 straight hours. Meanwhile, that baby has been colicking for who knows how many weeks, right? So it's a blessing to remove that nerve interference so that that baby's body is working the way it's designed to. The other question is, people are afraid that we're going to break your bones. Well, just like I have to be very gentle with how I'm addressing a newborn infant's spine, I have to be very gentle and careful with how I'm going to address a senior spine that might be severely osteoporotic or osteopenic, right, where the bone quality is just not there. So I would not address them the same way I've got my gal who's a competitive bodybuilder, who is rock solid. She is built like a brick shit house. She is amazing shape. So I have to be very physical when I adjust her as compared to my 90-year-olds or my 80-year-olds. It's just a very different approach based on your physicality. And it's up to the doctor to decide what's necessary to get the job done with you. So I hope that helps you understand some of the common fears that people come in with that are valid in their eyes. And I hope that I've been able to clarify those fears so that you know that chiropractic is safe and effective for every age, from the womb to the tomb. We don't discriminate. You're never too far along. I don't care how many medical procedures you've had done. It's never, ever, ever too late to have your spine and nervous system checked. I will never do harm to an area that's been surgically intervened, but we want to make sure that you never have to have surgical intervention again. And that's why we encourage you to see the chiropractor. And that's why we encourage newborn babies to get checked the minute they're born so that they're expressing their life potential from the very beginning at 100%. So you've been riding in the car with the chiro. This is Dr. Anita. I'll catch you on the next ride. Next week's Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We won't be riding in the car with the chiro on Thanksgiving. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. See you next time.